welcome once again, everybody, to a Safe Place podcast. And this week, we've got Craig. Unfortunately, Ryan's not been able to be here because he's got a little touch of man flu, hasn't he, Craig?
That's
so
what
he's
told you.
Yeah, he's had enough of the podcast. It's not done him any good mentally whatsoever.
The last one, what was the last one? Because we might have hit home on the last one.
The last one was talking about the media, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that hurt even.
He's probably literally now re-educating himself to find a backdoor route through into the media, by which then he can implode the BBC under itself.
Or he's created his own newspaper to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And all he does is report on newspaper headings.
Where every page is page 3. That's it. It's just a whole newspaper full of tits.
He's just done it for the adult calendar world.
That's how he's going to fix the media.
Some sort of niche. But he's basically not here, is he?
Yeah, he's unwell. So this week we want to talk about a topic which is dear to our traumatised hearts, isn't it? And it's the idea that if we went to school and was taught an education on how to understand our emotions and thoughts and behaviours, would probably argue that we'd be in a lot better state than we have been either A, the past few years, or have actualised ourselves and brought out even more potential within ourselves.
Let's just break it down a little bit better for people to understand. At the moment, you're saying the education that we have is not bad. It gets you to live life, doesn't it? And it gets you to have an education so you know how to write, how to do maths.
Never did me any harm, sunshine. Never did me any harm, that education.
Hey, you was in set 1 for one class, I remember.
I was in set 1 for about 6 classes.
Oh, right, okay. That's the thing that you said don't bring up.
Yeah, and see, they would have taught me defensiveness in school, and I wouldn't have to argue back then. I'd have just sat here and embraced it.
Yeah. So basically you're saying, how could we change the education to do something that's not even seen as a problem, unfortunately, is stop suffering the emotions that cause so much grief and pain.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that we need to change to be better individuals.
No, absolutely. That's a much better way of putting it. How do we suffer less? And if we would have had the right education, we could argue that we would have suffered less.
Yeah, so we're trying to get that. You get educated about certain subjects, but never psychology. Now, psychology is a study of the human mind.
Yeah.
Isn't it incredible? That's one lesson. You have to find out at the age of 18 and then do a degree in it if you want to, if you choose to.
Yeah.
Knowing nothing about it, you're not even bothered about it.
It's fascinating that, as you rightly say, that the most important, in a sense, for you to experience conscious reality organ inside your body is never educated to you growing up in school.
The very subject that is like, when you learn about it, you know how you work? No. Well, guess what? There's dynamics and there's all sort of amazing stuff about how you work that makes you live 100 times better. Yeah. Why don't you know about it? I must have missed that class.
I know geography. I know where Canada is on the map. Yeah. I want to point out Canada to you. Is that going to fix your addiction problems or your anxiety? No, but I can point Canada out to you.
Even better, I know Jesus and all the stories that he did. I know that, but I don't know how I work.
Yeah, but in a sense, you've just opened up Pandora's box there for Jesus, because Jesus was probably one of the greatest psychological saviours of all time in terms of the lessons and teachings he tried to put across. The incredible thing is, though, the problem, we're going on to religion now. It's the idea that religion have hijacked Jesus and twisted it and left it for interpretation to create even more sort of divide in us, isn't it?
So your suggestion is, in a type of way, that's probably the best subject to learn about in a way.
Yeah, good point, yeah. It probably is. But only if you're getting the teachings of Jesus. If you bring up the Old Testament to it, you're going to have a lot of problems in your social life when you grow up.
Yeah, so the main thing that you view, this and doesn't matter whether it's true or not, it's in school, so it's whether you believe in religion or not, this is what's happening. You are learning about something, which is actually the best thing to learning. To learn to have a belief in something is great. Unfortunately, you're educated that one belief system is true forever, which isn't true. So then what we're saying is, what can we do to learn about ourselves? How can we incorporate that? And if we did at 5 years old and we knew about psychology, would we all kill ourselves less? Would we fight less?
I think so, dear. Let's
100%.
let's think of a little boy called Johnny. Let's think of a little boy called Andrew Murray. A little boy called Johnny, right? And little Johnny, when he hears his mum and dad screaming at each other, and either mummy hit daddy or daddy hit mummy, or goes from some sort of fearful associated abuse to that experience that he's facing, little Johnny interprets that something's wrong with him, that something inside of him is broken. So little Johnny starts to develop personality traits to try and fix mummy and daddy's problems. If little Johnny goes to school and little Johnny learns that it's got jack shit to do with Johnny and more to do with his mum and dad's trauma, little Johnny's self-esteem doesn't get destroyed by misperceived touches of reality, in a sense. What is sadly, what an awful situation that a little kid experiences the universe outside of himself, feels these difficult emotions, feels that he's fundamentally wrong because it feels so negative, and then he feels, bless his heart,
Yeah.
he has to try and fix it.
And you know this through psychology now and through experience, don't you?
Yeah.
The mixture of the both
Yeah,
has put you on the path where you know this and you know it should be in schools at the age of 5.
it should be, yeah.
So now that opens another thing as well. Parents don't know how to communicate to their children. And
Whoa.
children,
What do you mean?
they're never. When did you? So, how many children have you got, Andrew?
Hold on a minute. I'm not going to bring my kids into this. I know how to speak to my children. So I'm playing the part now of the defensive parent.
that you have to tell me that.
It is, but I have to try and help people understand what I'm doing. So you're telling me how to be a good parent?
So when you learn to drive a car, you have tests in the car with an instructor. Where did you learn to be a parent? Now, this isn't a bad thing. This sounds like I'm
No, I'll answer it like...
slating all parents, but
No, I'll
the
answer it
truth
like
is-
I think it would be answered. Well, I think I learnt it off my mum and dad.
Yeah. Now, did your mum and dad have, without doubt, the most perfect parents that looked after them and passed that on to you? Did you get everything that was positive from your life growing up?
No, of course I didn't, but mum and dad did the best they could. You know, people have it bad. I'm all right. There's nothing wrong with me.
Okay. So the best that they could do was learn from their mum and dad and hopefully get the juggling pot of emotions and everything right.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is if we had an education for that parent at the age of 5, the difference in parenting would be the very thing that you just said at the start of it, little Johnny, where they never affect your esteem, where they understand themselves so much that in the worst case scenario of whatever action you did, they would be able to explain 5 or 10 or 15 and know your awareness state. They would be able to communicate the rules that they want to say, how to live in a way where you understand them and know that you've got a free choice. You've got a free choice to believe in religion or not. You've got a free choice to eat the amount of food that you want to eat on the plate. It's not going to go to do anything with the past.
Well, when we look at the idea of, there's a lot of people that seem like great parents, isn't there? And everybody is a great parent in a sense. We're trying to survive and trying to help our kids survive in the only way we know how, which usually a part of percentage of the population, actually that way of surviving has a negative consequence on kids growing up. So for instance, let's look at it a certain way. A guy that was young and he only ever seemed to get any type of approval from his father when he was earning some sort of money or had a career, right? That was the one place that daddy focused on him and made him feel enough. So what happens is that child grows into a man. He goes out and pursues a career and he works 50 hours a week and he's not getting to see any time with his son. And in the father's reality, and justified as it is, he will say, I'm taking care of my boy. He is taking care of him in terms of a shelter and a roof over his head financially. But what's happening inside of that young boy is he will feel a sense of neglect. He will feel that daddy doesn't want to be around me. And all of those thoughts and feelings create a really poor sense of self-worth and self-esteem. And that difficult emotion, as we've learned from other podcasts, that difficult emotion we don't want to feel. So that young boy will grow into a man and then try and pursue the things that feel
I'm just
good.
going to ask you to stop before I cry. It's such a sad story, isn't it? It's absolutely traumatising now.
It
I
is.
hope that hasn't come from a personal experience. I hope he wasn't projecting.
No.
That was somebody else, wasn't it?
No, I think it's a lot of our stories to a degree. Not as straight to the point, but in some
Parts
way,
of.
we've always, as a child, longed for our parents, and our parents have never been
love.
able to, absolutely longed to feel loved by a parent.
Yeah. So what we're asking for is the education to change at the age of 5. So you know this story about finding true love, and as you know, I want to say all of it comes from within yourself. It's not even an external thing at a deep level.
Yeah.
We're saying we need to learn this, which is something quite simple. We're just speaking about it now. It's something that just needs the right coaching, the right tutors, the right teachers who understand themselves as well. So we're talking about the same education for every human, aren't we?
And why do we want this now, pal? Tell us why we suffer knowing that this isn't a reality out there for every kid.
Well, this is why we want this so bad. I think of the parents, right, who are fantastic and they do everything for their child. And you can say, no, you know what? I couldn't have had a lesson that was better than my mum and dad.
Yeah.
Because and I look at it and say, yeah, you know what? You do everything. Now, you do this out of a false love in a way. You do everything and you're parenting yourself. So you've either had, you've found the perfect way to parent your child, and you can only see that illusion that it's perfect.
Yeah.
But now and again, you will do something for that child which actually overrides something for you. And you're the most important thing. And this is where I go with the parenting. Look at the parents that can't do this and are accidentally, emotionally destroying their child, which they won't even see until they're 15.
And by the way, when he says that,
20.
it doesn't mean you're doing this consciously. You are destroying your child. That's a reality that we can't sugarcoat.
It's an invisible crime, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're not doing it consciously. You're not doing it to hurt your kid. Why you're doing it is because you associate certain situations to bring you pleasure or pain, and you move your life accordingly to avoid the pain and go towards the pleasure. And those, in a sense, directly affect your relationship with your kid.
Yeah. And the positive energy coming out of Andrew tonight
Just lost the lamp.
Blew a bulb out. You're getting too emotional. The vibrations are just...
Let me try and recap that then 1 second.
Okay, so it sounds insulting. I know.
It does, yeah. But it's a reality.
Insulting to say, and imagine a world where you got arrested for an emotional crime. Tamara, imagine that world. A lot of people are getting arrested, aren't they? The prisons are overcrowded with people. Now, unfortunately, we're trying to highlight that this accidental emotional pain is causing emotional pain to the thing that you love.
And yourself.
And it's only because you don't have this education that we've learned, not mastered, learned.
Yeah, and absolutely not mastered.
Yeah. Never talking from, we have got this sorted. We're just a few years into a path. We're saying if we had it at 5, my God, our life could be different.
Our children's lives would be different.
Yeah.
You know, I'm fundamentally flawed myself as a dad. There's so much more I can do. And then I guilt burden myself with knowing that I could have done more.
That's the twist, isn't it?
The guilt makes you even worse of a father in a way. I don't know what it is, but it does. But a guilt, again, is a misconception from what's going on. You hold yourself accountable for something that you wasn't in a sense, in control of.
Yeah. So, in fact, it's not the incident that has caused any problem, and actually the emotional reaction that you presume is in another person might not be there. I mean, I I think the guilt then means you carry on and ego defend your actions from that point, which is far worse than the actual thing that you do half the time.
And that's a good point, Craig. And I think just to end it now with the idea that we've not even touched the subject, have we? We've not given anything really concrete to it. But what the message that we want to get across is there's, again, psychology or an awareness that you can get of yourself through education, that it will and can massively benefit your life and the life of the people that you love around you.
Yeah. I know that we're running out of time now, but I just want to picture it like this. And unfortunately, you have to picture it like a sci-fi future movie. But can you imagine, and this is my belief, if we was able to put the right psychology and education in at an early age, I think we would live in a reality where we're more loving as a universe. We all know that we're connected. The problems that we face now with racism and ethnic groups and all these boundaries will be destroyed very early on. So the age of 12, 13, as you're starting to grow in, you will just be such a different human altogether.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we have to think of a film like that sci-fi to get that illusion. I'm saying it's a reality. Yeah. We can witness this in our lifetime if we start now as a massive collective.
So for anyone out there that's suffering with addiction to anything that you feel directly affects your relationship with your kids, or any type of suffering like depression or anxiety or grief that you think is directly affecting your relationship with your kids, we want to let you know that there is a type of therapy out there that can alleviate all of that suffering for you and your kids. In a sense, you can overcome all of these issues.
And it's strange that we kind of went on to the parents and children, because unfortunately that's what we are. We are just
fumbling around in the darkness, trying to find a way of surviving, ain't we?
And it's just like, come on, let's do it. We've missed out on this generation. Only a few people know it. 5% know this stuff. Let's give it to 5-year-olds tomorrow. Let them take it on board.
Mad.
And they
give it to 5-year-olds. They ain't going to be able to go out on any bread and butter, are they?
Oh, God. What a dim, honest view, isn't it?
Look at us laughing at the 5-year-olds now. Right, anyway, thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in.